Well, all predictions are off for the fourth and final quarter-final of this, the Capetown leg of the World Rugby HSBC 7 series, because three astonishing quarterfinals we've seen so far. France beating Fiji, South Africa beating Australia, Argentina beating New Zealand, and now it's Kenya taking on the United States. Collins Injera, the Kenyan captain, Madison Hughes leading the American side, who caused some upsets of their own last week in Dubai. They beat South Africa in the quarterfinal, did the USA. They then they'd beaten New Zealand in the pool and then beat them again in the third, fourth playoff in Dubai. Hanyani Shimangi is with me for this fourth quarterfinal, and there's a common trend here in the three quarterfinals so far. They've all been won by the teams that finished second in their pools.
Interesting times. The Kenyans, well, they shocked everybody yesterday by beating the South Africans, drew with England, and thereabout. But America, a team on the up there. They got pace, they got power, they got size, and everything else. So they'll be worried, they'll be nervous. It is a knockout game.
So the two big upsets yesterday: Kenya beating South Africa, but also Canada defeating New Zealand. It didn't affect New Zealand en route to finishing top of their pool, but Argentina beating them, another huge upset, as was France beating Fiji. Fiji looked unbeatable during yesterday's pool stages, and they were cruising at a stage in their quarterfinal, but France hung in there to win the first quarterfinal over Fiji. So Fiji, Australia and New Zealand all confined to the plate competition. Three cup quarterfinalists decided in the form of France, South Africa and now Argentina. Who will join them? Will it be Kenya or the USA? It's the USA immediately under pressure, and Kenya then bundled out into the corner. It was Oscar Ayodi who was trying to get in at the corner.
And just not managing to go, but fantastic counter-attacking from the Kenyans. Ayodi, great defense from Madison Hughes to get him out. The pressure has certainly been telling, and the Kenyans looking good.
And have scored the first try through Willie Mbaka. Stole the USA throw in at the line out, and Kenya over for the first try of the game. Willie Mbaka scoring it in his 21st World Rugby Sevens tournament.
Just a classic line-out steal from the big man, Willie Mbaka. One of the easiest tries he will score. The hard work was done by supporters around him. The throw is way too short, and he says, thank you very much, it's a gift. And the try line right there. Well done to the Kenyan line-out for stealing that.
A key point that you make there for those watching sevens, perhaps for the first time, two forwards having to support the USA player. So no one there. There are the two supporters. Mbaka up in front of his man, and a clear few paces into the try line.
And this is another crucial area in sevens, the ability to get that accuracy from the kick and get the ball back. See, the Kenyans generally try to go short, try to get the ball back so they can start attacking again.
That's a beautiful restart, high and hanging support in the air for Zach Test, but unable to secure it. So possession once again in the hands of the Kenyans. Ayodi. And then it's Oscar Umar who's brought to ground. Racket formed, and it beat the USA, so penalty awarded by Rasta Rashavenga. Expensive, speculative pass over the top. Odiambo had to go back to fetch that, losing some momentum. Ayodi through the hands of Mbaka, and the wide pass is from Adema. And no clear release in the tackle from Zach Test that time, so the penalties coming the way of Kenya. They won over a huge amount of support here at the Capetown Stadium. Yesterday did the Kenyans in the same group as South Africa and Zimbabwe, and they get a huge cheer now for their second try. Well, Bushumwale broke open the defence up the left flank, but it was Collins Injera, the captain, who finished off the move.
Well, the Kenyans pulling all the strings today, doing everything right. Bushumwale did the right thing, took his man on the outside. This conversion here should be a formality, and it is. But Collins Injera, the experienced Collins Injera, does the hard work. Look at this outside. Bushumwale sizes up his man, beats him on the outside, close to the touchline, hugs the touchline, one-handed pass. Collins Injera gets another try for the Kenyans, and they're looking in control.
Well, they looked very good in their opening pool game yesterday against England before England snatched a draw right at the death, 19 points all. 2 tries apiece between Kenya and South Africa, but it was a solitary conversion that eventually put Kenya through at the top of the group. They beat Zimbabwe easily by 36 points to 0 in their final pool game, so qualifying top of Pool B, with South Africa in second. Just no possession to speak of for the USA at this stage, and once again their line under siege. And numbers out wide for the Kenyans. It was a looping pass, but Bushumwale just unable to get his pass away in the tackle. It went ever so slightly forward.
And Matt, and the problem at the moment for the Americans is they can't catch a kickoff. You know, every time Kenya score a try, it's just havoc here. And Bushumwale sent us forward. Good leg tackle from Gareth Bender, but they just can't catch a kickoff. And the Kenyans, that's a key stat there. They're pulling all the strings, and they're looking good because they're putting passes together and putting the Americans under defensive pressure.
Well, USA with just no ball to speak of. Carlin Isles, such a dangerous attacking threat. We haven't mentioned his name once in the first half. He just hasn't got his hands on the ball. Whenever he does, wherever he is, he's a huge
just ask them to go to the
attacking threat to any opposition defense.
Okay, time back on. Catch. Look low. Mind.
One of the American players going off their key area here. They'll be looking for Isles. Some of their speedsters. Rare opportunity for the Americans. And Kenya have got the ball again. They want to play quickly. And Oscar Uma goes. He backs himself. A long pass. William Barker gets the try, and the Kenyans are in business here.
Yeah, well, that may well be a bridge too far for the USA. They will adopt the never say die attitude. William Barker hunts down that 50th World Series Sevens try.
Look at that, the pass over the top gets knocked on, but advantage being played, and William Barker gets up into the air. Knocked on, that advantage played to the Kenyans in the air, taken out in the air, and he scores the try, so they might even get a penalty from halfway here.
I wonder if they might, because we saw a yellow card, 2 yellow cards in Dubai last week for exactly that, on a pass, a player being taken out in the air. The conversion attempt just sneaks over the crossbar. Arasta Rashavenga is on his way back to halfway. Is he going to award a penalty? No.
And yeah, he's taken out in the air here by Thompson.
Absolutely no attempt by Brett Thompson to contest the ball. Potentially dangerous. Perhaps the fact that the try was scored being a mitigating factor in his favour.
America cannot handle a kickoff at the moment, and that's the biggest issue, Matt. They're not getting their hands on the ball. I mean, you mentioned guys like Carlin Isles, Madison Hughes. You haven't seen them because they can't get a kickoff. So that's a key area, half-time.
Okay, catch.
Mike Friday would be a big mention that trying to get their hands onto the ball.
Set.
Or getting their kickoffs.
And Kenya, not surprisingly, happy to boot the ball high into the stands to bring an end to the first half of this Cup quarter-final.
Happy, AJ?
Yeah. Try scored by Collins Injera, the captain, and William Barker, who got 2. One from a stolen line out, and then the third one after a quickly taken tap penalty, and Kenya well in command of this quarterfinal. They lead the United States of America at halftime by 19 points to 0. Well, some hard words from USA coach Mike Friday at the halftime break. He's made a couple of substitutions as well, one of them being Carlin Isles being taken off with Perry Baker coming on. You have to feel for Carlin Isles in some respects, because simply did not get an opportunity to run with the ball in that first half. 3 converted tries required from the USA to get in front of Kenya, with no response from the buoyant Kenyans, yet to be defeated at this tournament. A draw with England, wins against South Africa and Zimbabwe to top Pool B. And if they can hang on to their lead in this second half, we will have 2 teams from Pool B in the Cup quarterfinals, South Africa and Kenya. This time there was a contest at the kickoff from Brett Thompson for the USA, and it has forced the knock-on from Kenya. It will give the USA some much-needed possession.
Yeah, and just listening to Mike Friday telling him to commit to kickoffs, try to get the ball back. And Oscar Oma was under the ball, just knocked it forward, needed to turn his shoulders a bit.
Bind.
But America, some position.
Set.
Just now, they have to apply the pressure and go get them.
First opportunity with ball in hand in the entire game for the USA, and this is how dangerous they can be. Perry Baker, no one will stop him into the corner. That's the perfect start to the second half. First touch of the ball for Perry Baker, and he's in for the USA's first.
Great work here, just the handling skills, getting it out wide to the pace man. He was held up the outside wing here for Kenya. Billy Odhiambo had to commit. That created the space for Perry Baker. Look at that, he commits the space for this man. That's a dangerous move here. You do not give this man the outside or an overlap, because he'll punish you.
And the conversion attempt clattering into the left-hand upright. Every point vital.
Now that's just defensive error from the Kenyans. Just a bit of a lack of trust with Oscar Ayodi and Odhiambo. Jamming in on one attacker, ball out wide. Perry Baker, no answer for his speed, unfortunately.
Well, it was Baker contesting the restart this time. Went through his fingertips, though. Kenya looking for patience on the ball here. Time on the ball, winding the clock down. Very effective rush defense from the USA, and an untidy placing of the ball from Kenya gives the USA another scrum. A score here, and they are right back in it.
And the key thing is there, you can see the line speed of the Americans a lot better. They don't want the Kenyans to run at them, hand them off, and the knock-on comes. But they're actually more, well, they've been more aggressive in terms of the defensive line speed, coming up and putting them under pressure. When you see Baker again here.
Well, some brilliant work to get it out to Perry Baker. Not quite a carbon copy of the first, but Kevin Swearin drawing the attention of 2 defenders. Again, creating that space wide out on the left. The second defender coming in onto Swearin, and Baker in unopposed.
Oscar Ayodi, he keeps getting beaten there. You can see on the one-on-one tackle, he keeps getting beaten. And it's forcing the outside wing to make a hit, and that's why Perry Baker is getting into space the whole time. The defense from the Kenyans, from scrums, they're not trusting each other. They're getting beaten on the outside shoulder, and it's making it difficult. And you've got a guy like Perry Baker with this speed, and it's making a huge difference.
Change for Kenya. Nelson Oyu being brought on. It's Billy Odhiambo who is being taken off, and back to the bench. Another hanging restart from the USA. Brilliant chase from Baker. Got up to tap it back down on the USA side. That was forward from Madison Hughes.
Oh, that's about 2 meters forward.
Okay, crouch.
Uncritically for Kenya, those 2 USA tries coming at the start of the second half have been scored way out on the left, and both unconverted, so still more than one score between Kenya and the USA. Kenya looking for some second half possession. Managed to starve the US of any kind of quality ball in the first 7 minutes.
Remember, we're not walking
Something of a reversal in the second half so far.
Yeah, and scrumming a foot up from the Americans. Scrumming around also, but just Rasta Rushbenga warning the Kenyans about walking to the line now, trying to slow the game down. They just need to get their hands on the ball. They actually look good with possession. Look here, the American line speed would be a lot quicker, trying to put the Kenyans under pressure also.
Oscar Ayodi making a couple of valuable meters, change in direction from Collins and Jera. Oscar Umar round his man. And the inside ball on the bounce to Madison Hughes. Great counter-attack opportunity here for the US. They must get it to Baker, who has it now. And trying to get round on the outside. That's a good cover tackle. Off the bench taken out in the process. Nelson Oyu with the tackle.
Oh, the danger man, he's quick, but not that quick. It's up against the touchline. He should have probably given the inside ball, and nothing malicious in that tackle there. But he knows he made an error. Should have given that inside ball.
There was a foot in touch before that tackle was made as well. Kenya desperately clinging to a lead here again. It's good hassling defense from the US.
Turnover's good.
Quickly taken by Zach Test. And again, they're looking to get it wide to Baker. Held up just long enough by Kevin Swerwin to set up the switch back towards the right. Leuta. Offload, and the tackle from him is poor. It was intended for Thompson, but the interception is good. Collins Injera is not going to be caught. He's going to get his second try, and that could well be it for the Kenyans to take them into the Cup semi-finals.
Well, the Kenyans, the giant killers. This time it was defensive pressure from the Kenyans. Collins Injera, I thought Perry Baker might have a go at trying to cross cover. Collins Injera, experience from him. He knows when to turn the pace up. A loose pass from the Americans. And look at this, Collins Injera snipes here. The main man for the Kenyan team, he knows exactly when to pick the pace up. He realizes he's in here, slows it down a bit. But the pressure getting the best of the favorites. And Kenya get more points.
And the conversion attempt is good as well. Kenya into a 26-10 lead, and that will be that. Kenya and South Africa will qualify from their pool for the Cup semi-finals. Beautiful reading of the play from the hugely experienced Collins Injera. There is the full-time hooter, so it'll be the USA to play New Zealand in the semi-finals of the plate, Fiji to play Australia, and four, you would have to say, unlikely semi-finalists in the Cup competition in Cape Town. France will play South Africa, Argentina will play Kenya.
First arriving player, 6.
And there again, ongoing problems for the Americans, still not managing to get their kickoffs. The Kenyans tactically have been a lot better, and they deserve this win.
Well, I remember you saying on commentary in their first game against England yesterday, they looked as though they were flagging a bit in the last stages of that game. Their fans are delighted, but they may have looked a little short on fitness in that match, but certainly not today. They've stuck to their guns. They've weathered a bit of a storm at the end, or at the beginning of the second half, but they've prevailed in the end, scoring 4 tries in the process. 26-10 winners